Welcome to the Australian Property Investment Podcast with your host, Aaron Christie David. Each episode, we ask an expert to share their key insights for aspiring investors to make confident property choices.
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Australian Property Investment Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Christie David, and for those that don't know me, I run a mortgage broking business called Atelier Wealth, and we specialise in helping property investors start out and scale up their portfolios. And as part of that journey to even start out and scale up, it means picking the brain of those that have either been there, done that, or live and breathe this daily. And the guest that I'm very fortunate to introduce today is Sam Gibson from Forming Futures. G'day, Sam.
Hey, mate. How you going?
Doing really good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, really good.
Beautiful. Now, you're joining us from the beautiful, sunny Gold Coast. Is that correct?
I am, mate. I am. It's not too sunny today, but it has been beautiful weather, so I am.
Mate, that's a rarity that the sun isn't shining on the Goldie, that's for sure.
No,
you almost welcome a bit of a change, wouldn't you?
It does most days. No, don't get me wrong on that one.
Mate, lovely. Hey, mate, thanks for joining us. And there's a couple of questions that I want to run through. And the reason why we're chatting is because we've been really fortunate to work on a mutual client and a couple more that are in the pipeline as well. So I've got to see how you work firsthand. I've been really impressed. And I thought, look, there's something that's clearly working here. You've obviously hit a market. You resonate with the market. You've hit a sweet spot as well, and kind of want to lift the hood on your business. Okay, so what's a typical client experience? How does it work for you as well? And I guess we'll go a little bit deeper on some of the questions that we get asked as well. Yeah.
Yeah, sure thing, mate. Sure thing. Yeah. So with our service, we provide like an end-to-end buyers agency service, and what that looks like is client comes through, and we first educate them exactly on the market as a whole. So when I talk about a market as a whole, I talk about specific suburbs within a market. And when we identify those suburbs and we give our clients data to support those suburbs, we then look at asset classes within each of those suburbs. Normally people come to us, they've got a bit of an idea of where they want to buy and where they want to live. But we actually go into a bit more finer detail around exactly what their investment strategy looks like, both short-term and long-term. Then from there, once we've identified some locations and asset classes, then we go through and we actually go and build property lists for our clients in terms of what's available to buy. And that's both on and off market as well. So when I talk about on market, it's about me going out, talking to our connections with a number of agents that we deal with in certain suburbs. And then it means that I actually go through our door knock and our cold call for specific assets as well that suit our clients' requirements. The good thing about this is once we actually identify properties that are available for sale or can be purchased, is that for our clients that aren't here, and a lot of our past deals have been virtually, which has been actually working quite well. You've got to be confident in your ability to be able to do it, but it's working very well, is that if our clients aren't here, literally we go out and we'll do the inspections for them and we video the whole thing. We also FaceTime, and it allows us to provide a lot of structure for our clients, because once we do that, if put it in your shoes, if you're one of our clients, we literally send you a Google Drive link. And in that link, you'll have a virtual property inspection for the property. You have a set of floor plans. You have a set of zoning plans. You know what the overlays are. It gives a lot of structure, because I feel like when people go and look for property, it can be quite exciting, or they'll just look at it and say, hey, cool, what's it going to be worth me if it's an investment? What's it going to be in return? But you don't have that structure there. So for our clients that are buying remotely, we provide that service. And then for our clients that can actually be here in person, we'll go with them. So we take them in our car, we go out, we look at every single property in person and share our knowledge on that as well. So once we've completed that process, we then literally just manage the negotiation process all the way through to completion. How that's a big advantage for our clients is that because we're in the market every single day, we know exactly what's going on and we've got access to that data. So we can sit down with our clients and say, hey, cool, yep, you like property X. This is 5 other properties that have sold within the area of similar asset type. This is what we believe it should rent for. This is what the upside is for the property as well. And this is where we believe it should be valued as well. So it really helps our clients to have that data on hand rather than sort of saying to the agent, hey, what do you think it's worth? Or having a look through realestate.com and doing some comparisons themselves. Yeah. It really helps out having that data on hand. And it also just gives them the confidence, So a lot of people, when they're investing in new markets, it's obviously, what information do they need to have that confidence to be like, hey, Sam, you know what? This is a really good investment. Let's move forward and let's make this work.
Yeah. Perfect. And when we talk about, say, the market, I mean, it's a catchphrase. There's markets within markets, for example. But I want to go back a step and you look at some markets that have, I guess, performed very well. I mean, look at Hobart, look at Byron, and then you look at the Gold Coast. And I think I last read that Gold Coast yields are doing better than Sydney.
Yeah.
That's that's just a shift. That's a huge shift.
Some people you can't
real estate.
You can't digest it, they're like, what? What are you talking about, the Gold Coast?
Yeah. So, mate, I mean, you're on the ground. So tell us what's driving. Obviously, there's a shift to coastal beachside living. There's bang for your buck. But being on the ground and seeing, I guess, the shift of people that are picking up, moving homes, making the Goldie their new residence, what's at a ground level, what's driving that?
Sure. So what my view is on the whole thing is that ever since COVID started, people had a second view on what their lifestyle needs to be like and what they can do. And because a lot of people work virtually these days, we're finding a lot of clients moving to the Gold Coast because now they can actually have that lifestyle and work virtually, and work virtually for the companies they're working for or for their own businesses as well. Yeah. So, but a lot of people aren't doing that jump so fast as well. Clients coming through saying, "Hey, look, our children have moved up, and we want to buy an investment here because we want to be around them as well." Yeah. So there's a few reasons, but the biggest thing that I think is just because now people know they can work remotely and they can have that lifestyle as well. Ever since COVID came along as well, and that's just what we're seeing as feedback in the market as well. You know what I mean?
I read it's called the Zoom boom.
Virtually Zoom, man. I tell you what.
We say that while we're on Zoom at the moment. But,
it does. We do. But yeah, it's just underpinning a lot, and also looking at the industries as a whole. The construction industry here on the Gold Coast is absolutely booming as well. So, in terms of talking about, market confidence and stuff like that as well, I sort of rest my hat on exactly what's happening in that construction industry that backs everything else up as well. So.
Yeah, perfect. And I talk about distinct advantage. I almost call it the unfair advantage when we have clients that are going through buyer's agents. And like I said, we had the fortune of working together. We did. And I'll give you an example. So love our clients and their situation. They were stuck. So I think we probably did, I'm going to say 2, maybe 3 pre-approvals with them. And I got to the third one and I said, look, guys, I feel like we're spinning the wheels a little bit. What do we need to do to think a little bit differently? And so what's that? 3 pre-approvals times 3 months? It's 9 months.
Yeah.
You need to rethink this strategy a little bit here for yours, possibly ours as well. And I said, look, let's engage a buyer's agent. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it almost took about less than a week for you to go from a brief to having a contractor sale. And I think it moved that quickly that it freaked everyone out.
It did. We did it in 8 days. That was the timeline, 8 days. And it's very interesting because from our point of view, this is a real common thing. We had another buyer come through that has been looking for over 12 months. And we did a deal for them, again, in 24 hours. So, again,
and we can laugh about it, but I mean, there's results there. Right?
But that's the thing.
Genuinely something there.
That's the thing. And people come through to us, and a lot of people think, hey, if we're buying something so fast, they want something, then they go, whoa, what's going on here? It's like, well,
it looks like you delivered on the brief, and it happened too quickly for them that they freaked out. Yeah.
A lot of people, they say to me, how long does it take you to buy a property? And I said, about 30 days, but we've done it as fast as 24 hours. It's just a shift in perspective as well, though. Because as you say, once someone engages you and says, hey, look, I want to go and buy X, and then if you get it done and within a week, they sort of can't believe it because they've tried so long themselves. And because the market's so busy and they don't go off the right strategy and things aren't organised, the way it should be. And then also they just don't know these agents from a bar of soap, you know what I mean? There's no sort of track record there. Unfortunately, they sort of just get lost with everyone else. And they sort of can't believe it. So when we come through and we do these deals, like you say, 7 days, 24 hours, 48 hours and things like that, people do sort of, sometimes go, well, this is quite crazy, you know what I mean? But again, it delivers those results because what I know that the quicker I get my clients into the market, in the right asset type, paying the right money, buying the right stock, it's going to help them cover the value inflation that's happening as well. And it's still happening now. You know what I mean? Things aren't slowing down.
Absolutely. A common counter argument when I go, hey, look, guys, maybe guys, girls, think about a buyer's agent. And they're like, oh, hang on. Why would someone have a property listed off market? Because that's typically how buyer's agents kind of rose to popularity, which was, hey, look, we can look off market for opportunities. And in a hot market, every vendor is going to take it to market, trying to get the best price that they can. So, and why would I pay a buyer's agent when that property is still going to come onto the market and I could have found it myself?
Yeah.
So do you have a little bit of evidence that you go, look, here's the number that we do off market, or here's the number that we do on market, but we've been able to successfully negotiate under prices or favorable terms such as settlement terms as well. Give us a bit of insights there from your experience.
Yeah. So on market and off market deals, it changes for us in terms of what month it is. You know, like if we go back to sort of November last year, we're doing a lot of off market deals, but now coming through to December and January, we're doing a lot of on market deals. So it does change for us depending on what month it is. But in terms of talking to people around that saying, hey, look, you know, if there's an off market deal, it's going to come to the market. So why can't I do it myself? My opinion on that would be, hey, look, there's actually a lot of people that would say, hey, I would sell my property for X, but I'm not going to put it on market. And this is the thing for us. We look for deals where it's a win-win scenario, you know what I mean, where people have owned their properties for 20 years, 30 years or whatever. And they say to us, hey, look, we're not going to market it. We don't want to put it on market, but we would sell it for X. And we know that we've got someone there that's selling out, that's, you know, having a win. And then our clients coming in, buying it for the right price and they're having a win as well. So we know they're buying it for the right price and the market's in a good market as well. So for us, that would be my opinion on that.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So that's what they call it, maybe a silent listing or?
It is, yeah, silent listing. Yeah, there's a few names for it, but silent listing would be another one as well. And literally, we've just got a database of streets as well. So every single street, we've got owners, we've got notes, we've got everything. It's all mapped out. It's not just like, hey, let's get this guy a call. It's all mapped out properly as well. So it's something we work on every single day. So that's...
And that almost says it's the power of niching because, I mean, have the fortune of working with plenty of buyers agents. Some will work across markets across Australia. Because I feel like you're so hyper niche to one particular area that you probably know at a street level and therefore the right side of the street versus the other side of the street. There you go. That's the house that you want, not that house.
Yeah. People go, hey, look, I found a listing. Do you want to have a look at it? And I said, look, this is another part. And this was a client that wanted to buy something in Gibson of Waters. I found a really good street. It's here. And I'm like, well, that's next to an ex-housing commission. You don't really want to be there. That's the bad part of Gibson of Waters, you know. What do you mean? Okay, this road splits it up. Going to be on this side. It's the same thing as Burleigh Waters as well, you know. Yeah. You've got Bermuda Street that runs right through the middle. West side of Bermuda Street's different market. East side, different market. But we're talking about within like 3 kilometres, 4 kilometres of each other. But things are so different. So in terms of locations for us, you know, we sort of work from Broadbeach all the way just down to Coolangatta. It's more the southern areas of the Gold Coast. But again, it's where I live. You know, I live in Palm Beach, you know, and I work in these markets as well. So not only am I working there, but I'm living there. So being able to comment on, you know, these are the best schools, you know, this is where you should go and eat. These are the best coffees. This is where you should shop. It's just like the whole overview. It allows us to provide that level of detail to our clients as well.
Awesome. I want to go back a step because you mentioned before that you were doing, you know, obviously with lockdowns and people buying interstate sight unseen.
Yeah.
Look, investors have been doing that for quite some time. Borderless investors, for example.
Yeah.
So it's not a new phenomenon, but I guess the virtual inspections is something new. So if someone is interested in doing, say, a virtual or interstate purchase, for example, and they want eyes and ears and feet on the ground, what's the best way, do you feel, for someone like an investor to engage yourself or another buyer's agent, and what should they be looking for in terms of blind spots when they're buying sight unseen?
Definitely. So when you're buying sight unseen, the number one thing is you want to have a really good grasp on the market as a whole before you even start looking at property. So when I say that is knowing the market, knowing the information within the markets and the sub-markets first. Once you've gone through that, understanding each asset class and getting a really strong handle on that. Because again, you know, you can go online, you can find out different markets online, read up some data here and there, but once you talk to someone working in that market like a buyer's agent, then you can really be confident in your approach moving forward and your investment strategy moving forward. once you get to the point where you're actually looking at property, the biggest thing is, one, understanding that location and understanding where that specific property sits within that location and that sub-market. Like what I was saying before, if you're looking in a certain area, like say Burleigh Waters, is it west of Bermuda Street or east of Bermuda Street? Where is it close to? The next thing I'd look at as well is your, and this is going a bit specific, but is your lot sizes. So in terms of your land size. Yeah. So typically on the Gold Coast, you get two different types of lot sizes as a whole, as an average, where you sort of get your 400 or 450 square metre lot sizes, or you get your sort of 650 square metre lot sizes. Then there's a small portion that's sort of 800, not many 1,000, but sort of 800 to 900 square metres. Yeah. Why that's important is that if you're buying a 400 square metre lot size and you've got a 3-bedroom home on it, you can't get sort of much uplift in value. You know, you could maybe convert the garage into an additional bedroom, but there's not much uplift in value. But if you move into that 600, 650 square metre lot size, you've actually got room to build a granny flat on the lot as well. And we've got quite favourable zonings in certain parts of the Gold Coast where you can build granny flats and you can get a couple more bedrooms on there as well. A lot of our clients are doing that, and we're helping our clients through that process as well. So that would be another thing. In terms of buying the property itself, you know, just your basics. You definitely don't buy without building a PES, number one, and finding the right company to do that as well. Because with this whole boom, you know, there's a lot of people doing this sort of service. We're quite fortunate. We work with a really great company in-house as well, and he's great. And he'll come down and do these PES reports. You know, things like termites and pests are a big thing as well, making sure you've got a chemical barrier in place as well. And then with the building side of it, again, you know, there's a lot of sort of shonky upgrades as well back in the day. So having a really good handle on how that all works as well, that would be the next thing. Well, 100%. When you're looking at things, looking at the big things as well, we're not looking at, you know, small little upgrades. We're saying, well, what's the roof like? You know, what's the plumbing like? What's the slab like? Is there cracks in the slab? What's the pool like? What's the fence like? Just the basics, you know, but looking at overall big things that could potentially cost you money in the long term as well. Yeah, that's sort of a bit of an overview, right?
Excellent. I mean, there's been plenty of, when you talk about, I've seen it with other coastal areas, you know, money comes in, the area starts to transform a little bit, call it gentrification if you may. But what does the future look like for the Gold Coast? Because, when you go back quite a few years to where it is now, the food scene is something else, right? It's got a cracking food scene. I think it's kind of shaking off a little bit of that, call it, schoolies tag, and now it's becoming, call it for what it is. It's one sophisticated beachside suburb, right?
It is.
A bit of apartments. But so what does the future that you're seeing look like for the Goldie, mate?
Sure. It's very positive. Again, when I touched on it before with the construction industry and how much money there's invested in the construction industry, that's a real positive thing for the market as a whole. So what we're finding though now is that a lot of sort of suburbs, the southern end of the Gold Coast, are developing as well. And this is coming with the construction, the development side of these southern suburbs. So things like, you know, Burleigh Heads, Palm Beach, Currumbin, Chugan, and then down to sort of Coolangatta. We're finding a lot of boutique developments happening in these areas. And it's backed by that demand by people that are wanting to come here from interstate, and they're moving from places like Melbourne and Sydney and saying, you know, are you kidding me? I can buy a beachfront apartment for X. You know, what are you talking about? I have the conversation all day, and people don't understand it. Some people here in Queensland that have been there for a long time, they say, are they crazy? And it's like, you know, I've actually lived in Sydney myself for, you know, 4 or 5 years. I know what it's like. So I'd say the construction industry would be underpinning a lot. And then with the people moving here from interstate, things are just developing the right way as well. Like you're saying, the food scene, the coffee scene, the shopping and stuff like that. So you've got these southern sort of suburbs in the Gold Coast that used to be so old where a lot of people wouldn't actually live in these suburbs as a whole. Like Palm Beach itself 10 years ago, no one would want to live there, and they've just actually grown so much. And in terms of that, the zoning sort of underpins a lot of that development as well. So favourable zoning sort of guidelines came in place to say that, look, you can develop in these certain areas. And with that demand of people wanting to move there and COVID and everything else, it was sort of that perfect recipe. for that moving forward. So to me, it's really positive. Things definitely haven't slowed down either. January has been a very good month. It's been really busy. Again, a lot of transactions happening in the market, and values are still holding as well. So it's a real positive outlook for the market itself.
Beautiful, mate. There's I'm excited when I see the Gold Coast. I'm like, it's one part of the show that that has so much opportunity. The beaches, the food scene. I'm like, there is so much opportunity up for the Gold Coast that I feel like, there's a reason why people are migrating to the Goldie, and I think it's become it's a popular tourist attraction. So internationally, it's well known. But I feel like now from the Eastern Seaboard, there are a lot of people, Sydney, Melbourne, that are going, hang on, this can be a great lifestyle, possibly without the price tag that, say, like a Noosa or Sunshine Coast may have. It's a great entry point to market, family friendly, and it's easy to get around, and it's ticking plenty of boxes for a lot of people from an owner-occupied appeal there, from an investor appeal. The rental yields are so strong, and I know people are queuing up and overbidding and paying 6 months in advance, maybe 12 months in advance. It's
crazy. It's still happening. The rental market's so strong at the moment. And again, Gold Coast as a whole is so close to places like Brisbane as well, which is super handy. So it's not like your sunny coast where it's so far away, where you have to travel so far to get there. And another really interesting thing as well is that within these markets, even though they are developing, there's still so much opportunity. Like even you look at, say, a suburb as Palm Beach as a whole, you've got so many original homes through that place. It's not funny, still even today. So there's still so much opportunity as well. And that's not just for that market, that's for the Gold Coast as a whole.
Love it. Love that you flying the flag for the Gold Coast, mate.
That's it, mate.
Plenty of change happening at the ground level. So, mate, wonderful. Thank you for your insights, and thank you for sharing.
No worries at all, Aaron. I appreciate the invite, mate.
I can speak from firsthand experience. It's been an absolute pleasure working alongside you, and mate, look forward to working more together as well.
Me too, mate. Me too.
Beautiful. If you want to reach out to Sam Gibson, we'll include his details in the link below. And that's another wrap for an episode on the Australian Property Investment Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to reach out. Like I mentioned, my name is Aaron Christy David, mortgage broker at Atelier Wealth, helping property investors. And if you found this helpful, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.